last year, the company, Adidas, had sales growth of 18%, and the company published an updated year growth estimate of 10 to 12% for the period of 2015 through 2020, which is really fantastic for a company of that size. They did purchase Reebok. Reebok has made some really good inroads in the CrossFit space to be that subgenre, but Adidas never stepped back to say we're second fiddle. They were always constantly trying to push to be the rival to Nike, and now after 15 years of constantly just pushing and pushing and pushing to try and get more of that market share, they converted me as a customer because of all that time and marketing spent.
And that's my point about Target, where you have to give them credit for looking in the mirror and being self-aware enough to see where the industry is changing. You could have made the same statement. You just said Target is potentially moving too slow. You could have said that 5-10 years ago, like, Adidas, why even bother? Nike is murdering you. But slowly but surely, they continue to go at Nike, and now, like you mentioned, they're seeing amazing growth and potentially can compete with them head-to-head soon.
Right. So now, after all these years, me being a new Adidas customer, this really goes to show that if you've got a vision for your company, there may be peaks and valleys, but if your long-term vision is to be the number one shoe in the United States or in the world, even if there's a Nike out there, be persistent. Keep going, keep trying new things. And in a certain sense, Adidas probably had a little more liberty to be more experimental. Yeezys was not a no-brainer to partner up with a rapper to make a shoe. He was unproven, but that's been tons of really excellent press. So they've done a lot of shifts, but overall just really sticking to their one core competency and being bold in their execution of their vision.
Well, and they've, to speak to the NBA side of things, they did a pretty incredible job of signing James Harden, Damian Lillard, even Derrick Rose at the top of his game. And listen, there's a seismic shift, I think, in culture right now. We grew up on Michael Jordan. Jordan's the best ever. He's the GOAT. If you're 11 years old right now, you don't remember Michael Jordan in a Bulls uniform. You don't have that same affinity for him. So as far as the Nike brand goes, they've done an amazing job keeping LeBron and Kevin Durant and Kobe, and those are all great lines, from those different athletes. But I think the reason why they're able to compete at this level, like you said, make that shift, is because they now have potentially a top 5 player, top 3 player, and James Harden, and he's an official Adidas athlete. Even Under Armour being able to get Stephen Curry. There was a time there where every athlete, including Jimmy Butler, he turned down a boatload of money to stay with Jordan because he loves Jordans and Nike. But I think there's a shift there because these new kids are not growing up necessarily, not at all. They don't know Michael Jordan, maybe just on YouTube, but they don't have that same affinity to go, oh, those are Jordans, those are dope. And maybe their dad wears Jordans, and that's not cool, but Adidas is. So Kanye West, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Lionel Messi, obviously the soccer market, they've always been well. But they've really invested in those big athletes, and that's something that Nike always really murdered them at in the past.
Yeah, and I see that as a twofold. So there's certain people that are going to be affected by who, wears the shoe. For me, just walking into a Foot Locker, if I'm scanning shoes,
cool.
I haven't seen that many Nike shoes that I'm like, whoa, those are amazing, so sick. I buy Rochers over and over, and they've been around for a long time. The Adidas side of things, the James Harden basketball shoe, that's one of the first basketball shoes where I've looked at and been like, damn.
And even the Stephen Curry's, not the white
water those.
water those, but his shoes too. I've looked at, like, I'm not gonna buy those, but they're close. They're getting closer to. They looked at that coolness factor that I think Nike does such an amazing job, because Nike really doubles down on brand awareness, marketing, and designing shoes.